There's one thing to have discernment, and there's another thing to actually use it. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is actually that when I have the spirit that anoints me, that's telling me that, for example, you get the gut feeling or you hear the silent voice that tells you, like, don't mess with that person, don't do business with that person. You may get that, but if you reject that, it's as if you didn't have the discernment at all. So I'm going to run that back. If you have discernment but you don't use it, it's just as bad as if you didn't have it. And I say that because, like, I realize now that I had the discernment, or I had the potential to say no to many of the jackpots that I ended up in, but I just kind of like ignored it and did what I want. And that led to dire circumstances. So actually, when you have discernment, it's always good to take actions on what you hear. Like when you feel like, that's not correct. So to give you one case in point, so I had in IRL, I had an opportunity trying to move up with a certain position, and the person that was supposed to interview me blew me off on the first interview. So what the spirit told me is that, okay, just move on. I didn't heed that, and then ended up showing up for a second meeting that where the person did actually show up. But the truth be told, when they didn't show up that first time, that really what I needed to do was just walk away, and I didn't heed that. And instead I ended up having this encounter with the people, which really like was a very poor encounter. It only lasted about 5 minutes, and then they were very dismissive. But they had been dismissive in the first place because they didn't show up on the original encounter, on the original meeting, on the original appointment, at the original date that had been set in advance, like 3 or 4 days. So when you get the discernment, or you get the understanding, or you get that, oh, don't do that, you have to take action on that. What are other examples? It's the same thing, I think, in any area. If you get that around your dating life and you realize, like, you know what, she's not a match, we're not equally yoked, what am I thinking? Then you want to follow that instead of being like, no, I think she's hot. Use the discernment. If you get the discernment, or if you have the gift of discernment, you have to take action on it. Just solely having it is not enough.